Hello and welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. I'm Eric Mosley, joined today by Coach Jared Slater. And Coach, we'll get right to it.
Absolutely.
It's been a rough couple weeks. We haven't been here for a couple weeks, but instead of dwelling on some of what's happened, let's just talk about where the team's at this point. We're kind of just past the halfway point of the season. So what's your assessment of the team so far at this point?
I mean, we're a 2-4 football team that shows flashes of being really good and shows flashes of being really young. We aren't a bad football team, regardless of what the last 2 weeks may say as far as the score is concerned. We just came up short, and to beat good teams, you got to go out and execute, like we've talked about many times on this show. But we're a 2-4 football team that has an opportunity to be 1-0 again at the end of this week. So that's our main focus right now is Mansfield-Madison.
And how has the team just kind of responded to the adversity? Have they done a pretty good job of keeping their heads up and just staying on task?
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday we had a good walkthrough practice. I joke with our kids that we're not Marion Harding anymore. We're Adversity University. We battle adversity each week, and our kids are resilient, and they know that the expectation, no matter what, will always remain high. So they've got to show up every day and give us everything they've got, and that hasn't wavered one bit. So I'm excited for practice today.
Now, this has been quite a stretch during the season to go from Pleasant to Gallion to Shelby. A lot of teams, and most teams in the MOAC are going to be facing that kind of stretch. But did you feel like your team came ready to play each one of those weeks? So you went 1-3 over that stretch. But did you feel like the team came ready to play every week?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely think they came ready to play, and I think if you turn on the film and you see the way, the intensity that our kids are playing at the beginning of those games, you can tell that we came ready to play. But with the Pleasant game, you saw a team that overcame adversity and showed maturity. Against Gallion, you saw a team that didn't overcome that adversity and showed signs of being a very young football team. And then obviously against Shelby, a really good football team, arguably the best team that we're going to see this year, we played very, very physical with them the first quarter and a half, and then, we didn't get some things going our way offensively. And, against a good football team, if you don't go out and execute, a team like Shelby is going to capitalize off of our mistakes, and that's exactly what they did. And, that's why the score looked like it did at the end of the game. But, we know how good this team can be, and I'm just excited for the opportunity to go out and be 1-0 at the end of this week.
So you go back to that Gallion game, kind of a game that was a tale of two halves.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously the delay was what it was. But do you feel like maybe Gallion came into that game riding a big high, undefeated, and we're kind of looking past Harding, and you guys did a good job of just like, hey, we're here, this is who we are, and kind of smacked them in the mouth there early?
I don't think they were looking past us. Coach Dick is a really good coach, and we talked for a while after the game and before the game as well, and he was very concerned about some of the mismatches that we felt that we had against them. And, we try to take advantage of those things. But, again, that's a really good football team. Their offense is one of the best, if not the best, in the conference. And, we've got to go out, we've got to tackle on defense, we've got to execute on offense. And when you shoot yourself in the foot against teams like that, they're going to capitalize off that. So I don't necessarily think they were overlooking us. I just think, when we are clicking on all cylinders, we're pretty good. And, the first half of that game, we were really taking it to them. It just didn't end up the way that we wanted to.
So in that game and then also in the Shelby game, what do you feel like the team did really well in each one of those games?
They showed toughness. They showed grit, in those games. That's the one thing that I love about this group. It doesn't matter, what the score is. They're just going to keep fighting. They're going to keep playing hard, and that is big for our program as a whole. And I'm excited to see that every Friday night. I think, we had a lot of young guys step up. We saw some guys, a few of those guys are going to be on the show today that really started to take steps forward as young men. And, that's some of the positives from the last 2 weeks. And, I'm excited to see them this Friday.
Is there anything or anyone about this team that surprised you so far this season?
Not anyone specifically. The thing that I'm happy to see is the morale of the team coming off of 2 really tough losses, having the focus that we had yesterday in practice, was pretty cool to see, and it's awesome. And they're taking coaching and they're really working to take those steps forward. And that's a change for our program, and I'm excited to see that change. And it has to translate though from Monday all the way through to Friday, and I'm excited to see if that does happen.
All right, well, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll go over some highlights of the Gallion and Shelby games. You are watching Coach's Corner. Welcome back to Coach's Corner, and we're going to go ahead and check out some of the highlights. First, we'll start with the Gallion game. We'll see what we've got.
Oh, man, our defense came to play the first quarter of this game. We just got to translate it into 4 quarters. Here we got senior Mitch Myers chasing down one of the fastest kids in the conference on the first play of the game. That was pretty cool to see. Again, against these teams, we really – against high-powered offenses like Gallion and Shelby, you got to be able to create turnovers. You're never truly going to shut them down, and we put an emphasis on that, and our kids were able to go out and do that. If we gang tackle, the second person there has to make sure they're trying to rake out the ball, and we did that right there. Here we've got DeAndre with a pretty solid run. He's having a really good season for us in every facet of the game, so hopefully that continues. We've got Brady getting out of the pocket, finding Jemiah Capdeville.
How do you feel about Brady right now and how he's picked everything up?
I think he's done a pretty good job. We kind of just threw him into the fire, and he's really, taking good coaching right now, and he's taking steps forward. Another pass completion to Jemiah. Yeah, we're getting a screen pass out to Trey Davis. He played well that game.
You really seemed like you had Gallion's defense on its heels early in the game.
Oh, absolutely. I think our tempo, once we get it going, it causes a lot of issues for a lot of teams. Here's DeAndre with a nice run for a touchdown. They drove down the field. They made a mistake, and luckily we were able to capitalize and get the fumble right there. Another pass play to Trey. Like I said, he played well, very well that game.
They seemed to play off on the outside quite a bit.
Yeah, I think, and I talked to Coach Dick, they were really concerned about our speed. Another great play by Jemiah right there. Finding Jemiah again, I don't know if that ball was supposed to go to him, but he jumped up and got it anyway. It was a good play for us. Here Brady finds Jake Hoffman. Jake played well for us this game. I think he had 9 catches for around 90 yards, so he played really well. And then just finding a wide open Mitch Myers in the back of the end zone for a touchdown.
So now we move on to Harding versus Shelby.
Yep.
And, a few highlights in this game.
A few. Right here, first play of the game, getting the ball out to DeAndre. Just wanting to get to the ball to our athletes in space was a big play for us. Here, we're bringing a lot of pressure. Mitch was able to get pressure on the quarterback and got a big sack for us. Ben Kenny. I love the kid. Right here, this was some of the stuff that we really worked to hammer home every week. This is just a great play by Mitch, raking the ball out. Huge play for us in that game. Gave our kids a lot of confidence. This is when big things happen like this, we have to maintain that momentum and make sure that we're locked in on the little things from there forward.
At that point, it's a close game.
Yeah.
And you got to feel like, okay, we're right there where we need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. We did feel that way. Unfortunately, offensively and defensively, we just didn't execute at the highest level. Right here, Q Brady, he had a great game. He was literally unblockable against Shelby, so that was pretty cool to see. And then we've got Brady right here finding Dre. This is one of the things we like about Brady. He's able to just create. So we're hoping that he continues to do that.
So we talked a little bit about Brady. When they give that kind of cushion on the outside, is that generally where you're looking to pass the ball anyways, or is there sometimes where the quarterback gets to decide right away, or you coaches on the sideline, once you see the coverage, it's like, okay, this is what we're doing?
Yeah, no, there are multiple plays where we have different reads for Brady, but if there's a certain matchup that he likes, and if, like, for instance, if a corner's playing 10 yards off and they don't have an outside backer that's going to be working underneath, that receiver's hot automatically. So we try to get the ball out to him quick. That's a automatic minimum 5-yard gain, if we're able to complete catch and throws. So, he has that freedom. But he's done a good job of trying to execute the offense and doing what the coaches have been asking him. So whenever they're playing that far off, we definitely want to get the ball out quick and let our athletes, make plays.
Did you find in both of those games, the run game especially, with DeAndre, kind of just it wasn't going very well?
Yeah.
So do you feel like that is kind of where a team can kind of stop you if they force you to have to pass so much? Is that kind of what the key is against Harding?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll be honest, and I keep saying it, but I truly don't care how many guys you put in the box. It's on our offense to execute in the run game. I mean, they've got to do it, But they know Dre is one of our best players, and they know that our tempo is driven through the run game. So teams are naturally going to load the box up and force us to throw the ball more. And even if we are forced to do that, we have to be able to execute. If they add more people to the box, that puts us in more one-on-one situations on the outside, and we feel that we have the athletes that can win those one-on-ones. We just have to make sure we do that on a consistent basis. And if we're able to do that, we can compete with any team in the MOAC. And you saw that the last 2 weeks. Teams wanted to load the box up and make Brady go win the game for us. And there were times where we did a really good job of getting the ball out quick. There were times where we did a really good job of winning those one-on-one matchups. We're just not consistent enough with it. So that's part of Marion Harding football taking the next step, is always being, consistent. And when a team takes away something that we're good at, we have to be confident in what else we can go to. And that's kind of where we are right now. So.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and take another break, and when we come back, we'll have some player interviews ready for you. You are watching Coach's Corner.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Haven't seen you around before. Are you new in the neighborhood?
Yeah. Haven't you heard about the new state law on yard waste bags?
No, I guess not.
Well, if yard waste is set out by the curb for pickup, state law requires residents to use a compostable bag, like me, or a large paper bag, or a hauler-provided cart. Plastic bags like you are now banned from curbside pickup. This is the other new bag in the neighborhood.
Hi guys, what's shaking?
Hey there, welcome.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner, and right now I'm joined by Jake Hoffman and Tobias Thompson, both seniors on this football team, and both wide receivers, so we'll get right to it. What was it that drew you to being a wide receiver? What made you want to be a wide receiver when you started playing?
The playmaking.
Playmaking?
Especially, because when you catch the ball, you just want to make all the moves in the world and score as many touchdowns as you want.
Okay.
Same with me. I mean, I just like lining up with someone one-on-one and just torching them,
Okay.
Just making plays.
Okay. So, Tobias, what do you think is the best skill that you have as a wide receiver? What makes you dangerous out there?
My speed and my route running.
Okay.
Because I make it very crisp.
Okay. Jake?
I'd say my route running too, and probably I ain't too fast, but I like to be physical sometimes.
Okay. Now, do you both line up wide, or either one of you play the slot? What do you kind of go all over?
I kind of go all over. I do inside sometimes, and I bump outside.
Okay, Jake.
I just stay out in slot the whole time outside.
Okay. So as the slot receiver, if you're in the slot, you're running. That's kind of the guy that's kind of going and finding the soft spots, going across the middle. Do you ever get a little nervous having to go across the middle, not knowing what's coming? You got to pay attention to where the ball's coming.
Yeah.
So do you get a little like, oh man, or is it like, I don't care if I'm going to get hit? They're going to have to make a play on me.
Well, at first it was like that, but I'm used to it now because we in like game 7, 6. So going across the middle really ain't nothing now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, Tobias, you also play cornerback. Do you take a lot of what you do as a wide receiver and try to flip it over to when you have to cover wide receiver?
I use my speed mostly and just fundamentals, just basic stuff. Just when I know to break on the ball and stuff like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you a corner that likes to hit, or are you just looking for, Deion Sanders always wanted to get the interception? Never worried about hitting anybody, you want to get the interception. So are you the Deion type, or do you like to go up and look a hit every once in a while?
I like to hit every once in a while, yeah.
Okay. So both of you play wide receiver. Who is the guy that you look towards to kind of model your game after? What pro do you guys kind of try to emulate? Is there one?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. What comes to mind is Odell Beckham first. Mm-hmm. That's the first person that comes to mind because he's so good. Can't guard him.
Yeah. Okay, Jake?
I don't know his first name, but Hopkins from the Texans.
Okay.
He's real good. I like at his game.
Okay. Now, do you guys play any other sports? Is there anything else you do at Harding?
Yeah, I do basketball and track.
Okay.
I do baseball and bowling.
Okay. Bowling. Hey, there you go. So is football, though, that's number one? Is that or is it kind of like the sport that you're in that season, that's what you're focused on? Okay. So this season hasn't, it's had a lot of ups and downs, but every time we hear about this season, we hear about this senior class and how tight they are. So what do you guys think about how this senior class has developed and led this team?
I think we just got to stay focused and get back on track here this week. And we did a really good job this year of locking in and keeping our team together, I think, and keeping us as a team instead of just individuals. So I think that if we execute this week, we can win out and have a pretty good season.
You think so too?
Yep, all in, LRDH.
There you go. All right, well, we'll go ahead and take a break. Thanks, guys, for coming on and joining us, and we'll be right back with Coach Jared Slater here on Coach's Corner. Welcome back to Coach's Corner, and we're joined again by Coach Jared Slater. And Coach, you got Mansfield-Madison this week, and they haven't won a game, but they've played a tough schedule. What are your thoughts on what Madison brings and an old rival of Harding
absolutely.
in the OHC days?
Yeah, no, the first thing that comes to my mind is the last time we played them at home, my sophomore year, they beat us on a missed or blocked extra point, and I'll never forget that. And it cost us, the OHC championship that year. So that's one of the things that first comes to my mind playing them. But they're a young team. The coach over there we've met a few times. He's trying to get the program turned around, a lot like what we're trying to do here. They're really simple offensively and defensively, and he just wants to see the kids execute at a high level. And when they do execute, you turn on their film against Ashland, which is a really good program. They take it to Ashland in the first quarter of the game. So the last few weeks, they're in a very similar situation as us. So I know that they're going to come prepared, and it's going to be a good game on Friday. And I think both teams are going to prepare well all week, and I'm excited to kind of renew that old rivalry on Friday night. It's going to be pretty cool.
Now, obviously, this group of kids doesn't have a memory of going to Mansfield and playing a game, and obviously Harding had a lot of great battles with Madison and Senior and all that. Is that something you kind of want to express to these guys? Is look, we used to have some battles over here, and come over here and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a lot of what. It's not a lot, but we do try to express that to the kids. But at the same time, they were 3, 4, and 5 years old when that stuff was going on. So we want them to kind of create and rewrite their own legacies and make their own history. So we don't really dwell on that stuff. We let them know that they were a rival and that, hey, some of the coaches on this staff still have a sour taste in their mouth from playing them when we were in high school. So we bring that up a little bit, but we really just want to go over there and focus on being Marion Harding. I say it all the time. We tell the kids to ignore the noise, and if you don't have an H on your helmet, this is going to sound terrible, but if you don't have an H on your helmet, you don't matter. And I truly believe that, and that's one of the things that we try to get the kids to focus on throughout the week.
So, it's a break in the league right now, and a non-league game. Does it kind of come at a good time to just kind of? I'm not saying that it's going to be an easy game, because obviously every game is going to be a struggle in some way. But you're able to step out of the MOAC for a little bit and maybe play a team that you match up and maybe even are a little bit better than. Is it just kind of coming at the right time?
You could say that. We aren't going to overlook any opponent. We know that their coach, if they're watching the film and they're watching the Shelby game, I'll be honest, they're saying they can beat us. We can win this game. So we know it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a physical game, and I'm excited for the kids. Does it come at the right time? I don't know. I love our league. It doesn't matter if you have a break or not. It's still going to be a tough game every Friday in the MOAC. So, I'm just excited for our kids to bounce back from a tough loss, a tough couple losses. I want to see how they respond, and I literally cannot wait to go to practice today.
So you talk about the league a little bit. Shelby, new to the league this year in football. This conference has changed so much in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
What do you think it says about this conference as a whole when you look at it as it's made up now? What would somebody on the outside look at this conference and think?
Well, I think they would look at the teams that are in the conference, and they see a lot of teams that are fighting for playoff position. They see a lot of teams who are playing really, really tough schedules that are, competing week in and week out. And then the other thing I see is people still have that same old stigma of the MOAC. You got the red division, you got the blue division, and you've got Pleasant, who dominates, and everybody looks at the schedule and they think that it's weak. But you see every Friday, every game is a tough game. You've got River Valley beating Clear Fork. Nobody expects that to happen. You've got, Gallion, returning or Clear Fork going to Gallion and beating Gallion last week. Things like that you're not expecting to see it, but I think it shows how good this conference is. So it's pretty cool to be a part of, I'm not going to lie. And I love the fact that each week is a challenge.
Yeah, it's easy, especially in North Central Ohio. You get kind of caught up in the OCC. That's the conference, and everybody talks about it. But I really think that the MOAC is turning into one of those conferences, especially in football, where, man, these are some really good teams.
Absolutely. No, it's really good teams that are well coached, and it's pretty cool for our kids to have that challenge week in and week out. And I think it really when we, are competing for conference championships and whoever wins the conference this year or, in future years, it really makes you feel like you went out and did something, like you had to go out and earn that. And that's a cool feeling for the kids to have. So I'm excited for us to get back into conference play after this week and, see where the chips fall, because you never know what's going to happen. So it's a good league.
And going into this week, you're relatively healthy?
Yeah, no, we're pretty healthy. Battled some sickness last week. Mitch Myers played Friday night with a stomach bug that came on Friday night right before the game. So, but for the most part, we're healthy, and hopefully we'll be at full strength on Friday.
All right. Well, Coach, good luck against Mansfield-Madison going over there to play this Friday. And that's it for this edition of Coach's Corner. We thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next week.